What's going on, everybody? My name is Mark. Welcome to The Big Critique. Once again, we have our guest, Rodion.
How's it going?
What's going on, Rodion? So, today we are here to talk once again about drones. So, I think that the most relevant thing drone-related to talk about would be the drone situation in Saudi Arabia. And so, I noticed that there was, it's not just me. All on the news, you'll see there's some hype around what happened exactly in Saudi Arabia.
So, it was a situation between Iran and Saudi Arabia. Iran used drones, unmanned armed drones, to attack some infrastructure in Saudi Arabia, specifically oil infrastructure. They did some minor damage that was rectified and secured very quickly. But the hype is that, oh no, gas prices are going to go up, oil prices are going to skyrocket, and I'm happy to talk about that because we haven't seen that.
Right, thank you for bringing that up, Rodion. Yes, that was the hype and the stare tactic that a lot of tons of news sites and bloggers use to get, as clickbait once again. Oh no, this drone crashed into a Saudi pipeline or whatever the case may be. Gas prices are going to skyrocket. We're all fucked. Gas is going to go up to $10. What do we do? Rodion, in your opinion, why is that a load of shit?
It's a load of shit because gas prices aren't going to skyrocket unless Iran uses like a WMD on an oil pipeline and then there's a war.
Well, when you say a WMD, for those of us, including myself, who aren't as educated as to what you're talking about, what is a WMD?
WMD stands for Weapon of Mass Destruction.
Oh, I thought you meant like a drone to some extent. Now I feel like an ass. A WMD, yes, Weapon of Mass Destruction. Okay. I was like, what's he talking about? Yeah, I guess that would definitely make sense. If it was like, there was like, but that would be the direct catalyst for the next World War, would it not, to some degree? To a complete degree, I should say?
Exactly.
So what you're saying is the drone... So first of all, exactly what happened in Saudi Arabia, do you know?
I know enough to talk about it because I am in the drone industry and I'm also a lawyer. So on a political level, Iran has been really showing their might and trying to show that they're really tough. And they have weaponized drones, they have technology that they stole from Israel, that they stole from the United States potentially, where they're able to retrofit some of their aviation equipment with some kind of weaponized drones, but it's very, very, very minuscule compared to what the United States and Israel has in terms of technology.
Right.
So we have, I think, nothing to worry about, scare tactics aside. We're in a good position as a country and with our allies, and as a result of that, oil prices are not going to go up. The market was maybe a little jittery, but that was probably just Wall Street speculation.
Right, that was just a little bit of in the moment fear.
Exactly.
That settled real quick. I remember, and it's not really with regard to drones, but I find the market very interesting. I remember when there was this certain situation, there was a news story about the United Airlines, and was it the person getting dragged off the flight of United Airlines or something like that? And for those of you, I know I have flown United a bunch of times. For those of you who may have flown United Airlines, so if you've flown United, you will know that there's more comfortable airlines out there than United Airlines. I mean, maybe this has just been my experience. I don't know.
Just a plug for JetBlue, the most legroom in coach.
JetBlue is very, very comfortable. I know somebody that works for them, and he has nothing but very, very good things to say about them. Anyway, the reason I brought United Airlines up is because when that person got dragged, I think they got dragged off a flight or something like that. There was something on the internet that went viral. Somebody got dragged off a United Airlines flight. I don't remember the exact context of what happened, but if you Google it, I'm sure you could find it. But anyway, so I was having a conversation with a friend like the next day, and they were like, oh, their stock must have gone to shit. And, I've played around in the stock market here or there for the last few years, and what I realized is, when things like that happen, it's fantastic. Because what happens is the stock drops, and it'll go down usually 5-10%, maybe more, but then everybody buys because everybody's a capitalist, and it goes back up. So maybe that's the sort of situation that was happening with futures. Would be my assumption. Well, anyway, so Rodion, thank you for giving your both legal and drone expertise commentary on that. So Rodion, you came to me and told me recently that because of the UN, because of UNweek, I believe, there's some flight restrictions as far as droning. If you have a drone, there are flight restrictions. First of all, for those people who are a little unclear on what UNweek is, would you explain real quick what UNweek is?
Sure. UNweek is an annual thing in the United States that usually happens in the fall, where diplomats from around the world go to the United Nations headquarters in New York City on 42nd Street and the East Side, and they do diplomatic work, or they try to. And they have a week of that, and as a result of that, there's a lot of diplomats in town, there's a lot of diplomatic vehicles in town. I once remember seeing a McLaren diplomatic vehicle that had a license plate from the Seychelles when I looked it up. So it was a Seychelles diplomat, which is like an island nation. So it's an interesting time to be in New York. A lot of stuff happening, but one of those things that is happening is also flight restrictions. There's what's called temporary flight restrictions, or TFRs, that the FAA has set up all throughout the 5 boroughs and beyond. And when you look up the TFR, it says presidential. So Trump will most likely be in town as well. Trump has a temporary flight restriction around Trump Tower that's always there by Central Park. So you can't really fly in Central Park legally. And right now, because of UNweek, it's virtually a blockade on drones if you want to fly legally. I did fly today. There was a small gap in the flight restrictions where you were able to fly by Brighton Beach and Coney Island safely.
Yeah.
And so I met up with a group of compatriots to say, from the drone field and drone industry, runs the gamut of people, young and old, retired, semi-retired, working professionals that have had this passion for many years. Some of them have only had it for a couple of years. I've been doing this for about 12 years on the side.
Rodion, you sound a little parched. Would you would you care to have some beverage? We don't have to be so serious. Can relax a little bit. But thank you for that information. It's very, very, especially if you're if you're an avid droner or a consistent flyer of the drones, the dronesies, as I like to put them. It's good to know what you can and can't do legally, because you could get in a lot of trouble. I get you can.
Absolutely.
But so yeah. So UNweek, all these flying restrictions, because these people are in town, they're messing things up. They're messing things up for people that want to fly drones at their leisure. They're very selfish, I feel like.
These diplomats,
these very selfish people. Very selfish.
They don't pay parking tickets. They're out of control.
How do I get to be a diplomat? How do I do that?
You join the Foreign Service and you become a Foreign Service officer, and you very, very slowly work your way up, and you're essentially doing diplomatic work. I know some people that do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay out of that. I don't want to do that. I'm not gonna do that. It was half of a joke. Just don't want to pay parking tickets, obviously. I don't want to pay any tickets. Rodion, could you be a diplomat? So you can be my plug to diplomats.
I have potential to maybe be.
Do you want to be a diplomat?
I would love it. It would be my dream job.
Really? Would it?
Yeah.
What's in the day-to-day of a diplomat?
Politics, negotiations, travel, legal analysis.
You see, I don't mind negotiations. I love travel. I like strategy too. I don't like legal analysis. I remember
a lot of reading of reports and writing of reports. A lot of that. Yeah.
All right. What's median to I guess high salaries of a diplomat?
I think you start out in the high, like 80s, and then you slowly work your way up to maybe the low 6 figures, like maybe 100 something. But it's a government job, so you won't become a millionaire overnight doing it.
Do you think diplomats do the diplomatic thing because they absolutely love the job?
You have to love the job to do it. It's a very hard job.
Okay. Yeah, you know, I feel like if I ever got into politics, oh man, it wouldn't be good. It would be very bad. It'd be very bad. It's for the same, like, like I could never be a cop, ever, because like, I'd pull somebody over and be like, oh, all right, just don't kill anybody. You know, I'm not gonna write to the speeding. I'd be a terrible cop. But if that's your dream, then by all means.
Yeah, slow and steady wins the race, maybe eventually.
But for now, what do you want to do in the droning community?
In the droning community, I just run a very small shop called Drone Consulting Services. Mark is involved with it as well. And our goal is to educate people about drones, to maybe do some side projects with commercial real estate, inspections. I recently did a roof inspection of my parents' condominium because we're replacing the roof. And if you're spending $20,000 to replace a roof, a couple of $100 for a drone inspection before and after is a very good use of time and a very good use of money, I think.
So what I'm hearing from you is there's tons of applicability. I have trouble speaking the English language sometimes. I really don't know why I do these things, like the whole podcasting thing when I can barely talk correctly, but
Very well.
Whatever the case may be, there's tons of like business and just like day-to-day applicability with drones, and I, for one, so I did join forces with Rodion to an extent in his business ventures because I see tremendous potential in the drone world, in the business applicability, especially in the construction world, all sorts of inspections or whatever. You could probably save time and potentially save a life by using a drone to do a roof inspection instead of a human being. I will be very enthused when people start coming out with drones that look more like actual cartoon characters, because it'll be funny as fuck. You know, I think I was thinking about this the other day. I approached you and I was like, dude, I have this cool idea.
Don't share it. It's a secret.
It's a secret. Essentially, I came to him and I was like, I came to him as if like I was this like hippie from the 1970s. I had like a Steve Jobs moment. Like if anybody had ever seen Steve Jobs the movie, he had this vision when he was on acid. He was tripping on acid. Disclosure: I wasn't tripping on acid. I just had an epiphany moment, so to speak, where I just had this idea of an event that we can host regarding drones that could be really cool. So I called this guy and I'm like, dude, I have this idea. You're the law. You know this stuff. Like, what are our legalities? How can we do this practically speaking? And he was like, well, you can go fuck yourself when it comes to this idea because it sucks. No. He said, well, it's a great idea, but the thing is they're already doing it and they have a lot more budget behind them. So we can work their way up to that. So my dreams just got cut right up. Now, they didn't get cut. I think eventually we'll do it. Again, I'm not going to actually say what it is because...
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned, hopefully in the future.
We'll invite the crowd.
Yeah, we will definitely put some things out there. But what you can expect to see is we will be shooting some more drone-related content. You might see a few commercials for drone consulting services and reasons why you 100% will need somebody to either consult with you regarding drones or even just purchase a service regarding construction on your house, wedding photography, general aerial shots, things like that.
I had a guy approach me today that wants to work out down the boardwalk, and he wants me to film him working out, and he'll pay me $100 to do that for an hour. Dude,
that is dope. What we could also do is we could also get him on video editing. I can help out with that.
Yeah.
Interested? I don't know.
That's the idea.
This is something that I really want to get into. So for those of you who don't know me personally, and I hope a ton of people don't know me personally that end up watching this, because I'd like our viewers to grow into people that would get to know us, you know, the Big Critique channel in general. And so I want to get further into the filmmaking world. I want to create content, do more podcasts, stuff like that, as I'm doing, and I definitely see drones playing an intricate role. Intricate, is that the right word? An intricate role. I guess it is the right word. In the general production value for filming.
Or integral.
Integral. You know, I don't. Again, I say big words sometimes. Lots of it's fluff. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, point is, I want to use drones to film things, and I think that it'll work out pretty well after we go through all the hardships of producing.
Yeah, the production takes much more time than the flying. I'm the flyer, and Marco would be the production editor.
And I have it wouldn't just be me. I have a team of people that I've worked with in the past, and that I probably bring on as long as they have time to do it. It's production of anything is a bitch. Film production is an even bigger pain in the behind. But anyway, so yeah, stay tuned for drone consulting services. You'll see hopefully more podcasts like this. I know you guys have probably seen a few guests of mine, a few guests come from, from my social network so far. I've had, I have one friend from real estate. I just had somebody on, I don't know if you know him, you guys will see him, my friend Mike Rockman. I don't know if you've ever met him before. He's in the real estate world. There's a ton of value in that podcast. He talks about the fact he just joined Compass. Compass is if any of you guys, you want to take a minute to go to compass.com, they're a tremendous real estate company. Where
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, he just got a job there, so he's doing well. I have another friend I interviewed. You saw this podcast where we talked about her baby, the hero's benefit, and so I'd like to keep doing more podcasts like that. If anybody's watching this that is in the filmmaking world, and I say that only because I would love to bring somebody on to interview from the filmmaking world, that'd be really cool. But really anybody.
You get Casey Neistat probably.
If Casey Neistat, if you're watching this and if you come on, I'll blow you on set. Just kidding. Not doing that. But I would be honored to have Casey on here. I think he would be a really, really cool interview and just like talk to have in general. But yeah, I'm trying to have more people on. So if anybody's watching this is interested to come on, if you have an interesting topic to talk about, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a professional within your field, like Rodion, let's talk about the cost of droning.
So the cost used to be very expensive and prohibitive, and the cost of time used to also be expensive because I used to have to solder stuff in electronics myself. I used to have to do wiring all myself from forums 10 years ago.
Would you say, I don't mean to cut you off, but would you say in order to be able to afford a drone, maybe even like 2-3 years ago, you'd probably have to sell your ass on the street?
No.
I just wanted to see what his reaction would be like from that statement.
Nowadays, you could get drones, recreational drones that cost like $5,000. Like an Inspire, the big one with the legs that come up.
Yeah.
You can post a picture. But my drone, for instance, the one that's tried and true and I've had for over 2 years, you could buy for $600 in the condition that I have it in, which is like new. You can't buy it new anymore because they've discontinued them because they want people to buy the $1,000, $1,400 drones, which have obstacle avoidance, they're called, from the podcast. DJI Mavics.
Oh, yeah, very familiar with those, especially since I've started to converse with you and work with you on this stuff. Rodion, drones are more affordable now. Like, it's no secret. You can go on Amazon, eBay, you can go on the internet, there's a million websites. Not to say that you can spend $10 and get one that'll last more than 5 minutes, but you can get a drone for a few $100, as you said, and it'll do what you need it to do, correct?
It'll have GPS, it'll have return to home for just a few $100.
Right.
You get what's called a Spark, a DJI Spark for $300. And it has return to home, it has live video feed, it has all sorts of software that DJI invested literally billions into. DJI is worth about $30 to $50 billion as a company.
They're going to be very big boys. They're already very big boys in the industry. But, so let me ask you this, because we've conversed about this before, and I feel like you've definitely dissuaded me from doing this. In my entrepreneurial aspirations, I came to Rodion and I said, well, this is a hot topic right now. In my opinion, drones they're not quite as hot of a topic as cannabis is, but I feel like they're very, very emerging industries from two very different directions that will come together very, very nicely eventually. But
what's the cannabis industry worth in the United States?
It's gotta be worth billions. Black market cannabis is definitely worth in the billions.
Okay, so drones are worth 20 billion now in the United States alone, and they'll be worth probably 50 billion within the next 5-10 years.
And drones will be what? Drones will be the way that you receive all of your orders, yes, cannabis related, once it becomes legalized everywhere. UPS, FedEx, all that stuff, all those drivers, I don't know what's gonna happen, but that's not the reason I brought this up. The reason I brought this up is because my curiosity is, what's the deal with buying them in bulk and reselling them? What do you know about it, and is it a lucrative market to get into? Is there a lot of regulation? Is it a big pain in the ass? Is it worth it? Is it not worth it? What do you think?
No, it's not worth your time.
Why is it not worth my time? So in any other industry, you find a manufacturer, you find a wholesaler, and you buy in bulk, right? And then you can resell. So why not do that with drones?
My goal is to run a service business, but if you run a service business, if you open up a drone store in Brooklyn, for instance, like a store with a physical location that has service and sales and support, that is a very, very lucrative business, and that will be successful if you do it right. But if you're just doing it if you're just doing it online and reselling, it's a hassle. And I tried to sell a few drones. It's just such a hassle. Like, they ask so many questions about how to use it, and I'm like, dude, I'm selling you $100 drone. I'm not gonna spend an hour explaining to you how it works.
So see, this goes in accordance with anything that you sell, brick and mortar, online, whatever. Oh, selling things is fun. So, okay, what I've learned in the last few years from trying to flip things online or whatever the case may be, the single most important thing to always remember when trying to resell or sell a product in general is customer service. See, the product is just an object, but the customer service and all that, that's what the people are paying you money for. So basically what you're saying is you would rather open up maybe even a brick and mortar eventually, or maybe you wouldn't, I don't know, you didn't say anything about that. This is sort of what I absorbed from what you said. You'd rather open up a brick and mortar and just provide a customer service and support.
No, it would be an authorized reseller of official drones.
Oh, you would do that? Okay, yeah, I didn't fully understand that. Okay.
Yeah.
So you would,
It's been a slight dream of mine. It's not my career trajectory, but as a side business, why not?
How much, well, I don't know how much of a side business that would be. I feel like that would be a decent source of income. But how much would it cost to do something like that?
A lot.
What's a lot? Forget about the cost of renting out a space. What are your startup costs and how does that work?
You would need a loan from a bank. I would personally need a small business loan from a bank.
For how much? Do you know?
Starting out probably around the neighborhood of $50,000.
That's actually not as much as I thought you were gonna say. I thought you were gonna head towards a $250,000 mark. To be honest.
I'm very low risk, so I would probably start out very small.
You're very low risk.
It would be like a very small shop in like a little residential area that has a commercial license at the ground floor. We would do repairs and service and stuff like that. And the $50,000 would virtually go towards rent for the first 6 months and inventory.
All right, guys, that's it. We're gonna wrap this up. Thank you so much for tuning into The Big Critique. Once again, my name is Mark. If you're still watching, this is my buddy Rodion. Check out Drone Consulting Services, possibly a website coming soon. Who knows? Will be a plug in here once again for his business page. And that's it. I hope that I provided you, or I'm sorry, I hope that we provided you with a fair amount of value. If you did find value in here, hit that subscribe button, hit the alert button so you know the next time that I'm posting something. Leave some comments, hit the like or dislike button. Hope to see you soon. Bye.